A Gangstalker in the comments has unknowingly confirmed to us that they want you to believe that directed energy weapons are real. Let me show you. A Gangstalker Chihuahua psychopathic freak commented on this video on the screen, and the title of the video is "They Want You to Believe Directed Energy Weapons Are Real." So look, down here, this person at ChompCE3, we're just gonna call him Chomp for short, his comment said, "Technology is a snowball effect. So keep this in mind. Technology is a snowball effect, all right?" He said, "You ever wonder why you believe they don't exist? But of course, you have it all figured out. Okay, interesting, question mark. There are actually US patents for no-touch torture energy weapons. Quite a few I dealt with for years." And then I replied, "There's patents for technologies that haven't been proven to work. They are called prophetic patents. Yes, I have it figured out. The testimonies of people that have contacted me to tell me that their DEWs or directed energy weapons calmed down once they applied and understood what I teach in the channel confirm this." At Chomp, explain the snowball effect since you know so much. Prove me wrong. So the snowball effect is what I have told you guys, that directed energy weapons are gradual, snowball, because it is all psychological. You see, when someone gets gang-stalked, people don't immediately start feeling the directed energy weapons. They don't immediately start hearing voices. It's something that happens gradually because the mind of the target becomes more messed up, more confused, more tired. The mind of the target is broken down gradually. If directed energy weapons were real, understand that there is an on and an off button, like everything. So at the moment that someone would be gang stalked, and like right at the moment when the gang stalking started, the directed energy weapons would be applied immediately. However, the directed energy weapons only happen after years of being harassed by gang stalkers. So I wanted him to explain this. That's why I told him to explain the snowball effect. So now he said, "At the eye of the mind, I am just saying I know for a fact a bunch of energy weapons do exist. Prove me wrong? That's a ridiculous question. Explain technology. That question doesn't make any sense. I really do believe you're being paid by a privatized DE agency to be talking this SHIT. That is so predictable." So notice how he is accusing me of being paid, and then watch. This person is gonna attack my character and my integrity. However, through the entire extent of the conversation, this person will not make a single argument that makes sense. No, this is what I'm saying. I replied, "You're the one saying it like you know what you're talking about. I never said explain technology. I asked you to explain yourself what you meant by technology is a snowball effect. That's all." The truth is that you don't want to tell everyone that the supposed directed energy weapons affect gradually increase. That the supposed directed energy weapons effect gradually increases due to the increasing confusion and exhaustion of the target, which confirms that it is the mind. There is only on and off. You don't kinda attack someone with a directed energy weapon. You turn it on and destroy. Additionally, how predictable of you to attack my personality when all I ask you is to explain yourself. You have to attack me personally because you had no other option. Explaining the snowball effect means that you'd be telling the truth about gang stalking. You're deplorable. How predictable attacking my character when you're out of argument, laugh out loud. And then I added, additionally, I never said they don't exist. I said they're not used in gang stalking. Gang stalkers are a bunch of stupid Chihuahua psychopathic freaks that try to give themselves importance by destroying people. They're a bunch of stupid, manipulative, narcissistic freaks that need to destroy people in order to protect their fragile, hollow ego. In gang stalking, everyone claims to know that directed energy weapons are real. I believe they're real too. However, Gangstalker Chihuahuas will never be smart enough to operate anything nearly as complex, even if they were only operated with a single buttons. Gangstalkers are stupid. And I continued, listen to your claims. You know without a doubt, without a shadow of a doubt, my content has helped people. When have you ever met a target who's been freed from gang stalking by knowing that directed energy weapons are real? Not once. The gang stalking gets worse because the directed energy weapon narrative is part of gang stalking. And then he said, why would you think no touch torture energy weapons exist but not being used? Tell me how that makes sense. Look, I didn't write that, but I'm going to tell you right now in this video. They're not being used because they're not being used in gang stalking. Like, gang stalking are just a bunch of stupid people that are not smart enough to be given this type of power. And I'm going to tell you why in the following comment. So look. So he says, who's actually been freed by your nonsense? So this is my reply to the part of weapons not existing, of directed energy weapons existing but not being used in gang stalking. I said, do you really think that a lot of people are going to walk around with directed energy weapons if they were so common? Since gang stalkers are everywhere, every single target would have seen one in real life at least once. That's just basic statistics and logic. They would have been shown one. If directed energy weapons were so common, we know a lot of people in the same town that have been attacked. Do you really think that people are gonna have directed energy weapons and not tell anyone? Haha, people cannot keep secrets when they're upset at someone. Do you think that people would actually have the willpower to abstain from using directed energy weapons on other enemies? Do you really think that parents wouldn't be using directed energy weapons on bullies, annoying children, the neighbors, in traffic? Ha, you're delusional. So watch, and then I put this, I actually reply also with a link to a picture of a testimony. And then this is what I said. This person, and then I said, one of them, watch, I bet your next comment is going to be denying that my actual evidence is real, and you're either going to attack my character or attack my evidence when you're trying to convince every target that you know that they're real. So, like here, look at how this person behaves. He's gonna deny or not acknowledge the evidence that I am putting on his screen. And he's still trying to make everyone believe his argument without even acknowledging or trying to understand my point of view. He says, I told him, and all you have to show is a tragic patent of technology that has never been realized. So the link is down here. And then watch. What is he attacking? My ego, like I told you. He said, I think you have a giant ego. You think you're helping, but maybe you actually know what you're doing, ? Being paid by a privatized DE agency. Look, that makes absolutely no sense. So listen, notice that he attacks me. He's saying that I am getting paid by a DE agency. Like, what is even a DE agency? And following that, he's attacking my ego. He's saying that my ego is giant. However, he still does not even try to understand my perspective. And you know why? Because he has a private agenda. His agenda is to convince you that directed energy weapons are real. It's so funny because that is the title of the video. And he is showing you via what he's saying. So then I put the smiley faces because I predicted here what he was going to do. So listen here, I put, and you're either going to attack my character or attack my evidence. And guess what he did? He attacked my character. That's why I'm laughing here. So now, that's what I said. How predictable. Of course you're going to completely overlook the evidence that I showed you and attack my character directly. That's the only fake and useless leverage that you have left because your argument isn't adding up. I told you you are predictable. And then he said, this is the most social media I do. I never have like Twitter. It doesn't even matter if you showed me you helped some people and it was true. Well, thank you. Good for you. But it still doesn't change the facts. So see, he's claiming that they're facts, yet he doesn't have any evidence. And me, that I have evidence, he is completely denying. And then I told him, well, look, no problem. Here's the YouTube video of it. Proof that the gang stalking playbook is helping targets. And then I put a link, and then I said, I predict you're either gonna call me a liar, somehow claim that the video isn't playing, or find a stupid excuse to say that my evidence isn't real. And then I continued. The fact that you have absolutely zero argument left, and all you have to say is, it still doesn't change the facts. I know exactly that's what you were gonna say, because Gangstalkers never admit that they're wrong, because they know that by never admitting the truth, the target of their lies will be left with a shadow of a doubt. Clear and obtuse character trait of psychopathy. You are so fried in the head and full of yourself, in addition to your unbendable commitment to never admit the truth of gangstalking, that you won't ever evolve as a human being. You are stuck as a deplorable human being who refuses to accept the truth because your obsession of being better than everyone else around you has locked you in your own prison. You are doomed to stay a liar and pathetic for the rest of your life. And what's worse, you know it, you accept it, and it won't ever change. That, my friend, is the true definition of tragic. And then Chomp says, expose is all I have to say to low-level privatized DE agents. See, he has no argument left. He has nothing left. He's lost the total argument. However, narcissists, gangstalkers, they are the same thing. They never admit to be wrong. They're never wrong, and they're gonna do everything to go around the truth. They're trying to create their own fake narrative, and they want to create a fake narrative in the mind of the target. So look, I totally wanted to get the truth out of him, but he didn't. Notice that he didn't explain this. What did you mean by technology is a snowball effect? I'm giving you a chance to prove me wrong, or would you rather stay in embarrassment? You're so tragic. It's disturbing. Expose ? Expose the fact that you have no argument, which is why you're resorting to accuse me of being an agent. You suck so hard, it's embarrassing. Then I said, why are you even asking for evidence if you don't even want to look at it? You're a pathetic coward. And then I said, see, you're the gangstalker Chihuahua psychopathic freak here, and we both know it.
Was that conversation clear enough? So, as you can see, it's obvious. Gangstalker Chihuahua psychopathic freaks are gonna stick to their narrative. They're never gonna tell you that you're right, because that is being a gangstalker. Regardless of how much evidence you put, they're never gonna accept it, because that is part of the job. They're gonna accuse your character, they're gonna accuse you of being a gangstalker, and they're gonna insist that your entry weapons are real. Any target who is an actual target is gonna try everything in order to get out of gangstalking, because gangstalking is something so awful that you are willing to try anything. So when you are showing someone the truth, understand that the truth is gonna get attacked in so many ways hard. Gangstalkers want you to believe that direct energy weapons are being used in gangstalking, because the direct energy weapons are part of the gangstalking narrative. And look, remember his first comment that said direct energy weapons are a snowball effect. That's true, because no one gets gangstalked and immediately starts shooting the direct energy weapons. The direct energy weapons are a snowball effect, and this person knows it. Chomp knows it. That was the first thing that he said, because he knows, and we know. I told you guys before, direct energy weapons are something that starts gradually and it gets worse with time. If you are a target and you are hearing voices, you're hearing V2K, you're feeling directed energy weapons, pay attention. It didn't start only with directed energy weapons. It turned gradually into directed energy weapons, It snowballed into directed energy weapons. The directed energy weapon effect got crazier and harder as the gangstalking went on. Understand that. And like I showed you in that video, which has a link in the description, Gangstalker Chihuahua psychopathic freaks are going to be pushing the narrative of directed energy weapons. When have you ever seen so many people so insistent in telling you, oh yeah, directed energy weapons are real, and so insistent in attacking the character of the messenger, mine, and accusing the character of being a DE agent? Honestly, I have no idea what a DE agent is. If you know, put it down in the comments, because I have no idea. And honestly, I don't even care. Gangstalkers spilled the beans themselves. Direct energy weapons are a snowball effect, and it's true, because it starts very little, and then with time it just gets worse and worse and worse. That's the truth. I lived it. That little piece of information is everything. that is evidence that that person is a gang stalker, because no one in my 7 years of gang stalking has ever said directed energy weapons are a snowball effect. He's a gang stalker, right? He knows it. I know it. And now you know it too. I told you, they are full of shizzle. And don't worry, we're gonna be creating more evidence, because gang stalkers have to keep attacking me, because they're gonna be doing everything possible to stop the truth from coming out. In order to keep the truth from coming out, gang stalkers have to do as much as possible to confuse you. Let me show you what was said immediately after this conversation.
So when you're getting targeted and you have been harassed by gang stalkers, your reality is gonna stop making sense. It just is. So messages like this one just create more chaos in the mind of the target. This is what it says. It says, this one was on the video V2K Voices Analysis, Exploration, and Discussion. And he says, the world is not real. So Wes shocked. So let's call him West. Wesh. Wesh says, the world is not real. Have you ever noticed that birds act a certain way around you? Which is weird. You know, like, it's like, how is a bird acting weird around you? Birds are birds and they're acting weird all the time. You were never real. Our experience is the worst, and we make life harder for everyone, so they come into your experience from another world to make sure we know we are terrible. Like, that comment in itself makes no sense. It just doesn't. It doesn't matter how good you do or what you believe. They want us to know we are not real, we don't matter, and this simulated world is not for us. And then the same person in another video said, the world is a simulation. No one on this earth is doing this. This world is not real, and we're never meant to enjoy life. It doesn't matter what you do or believe, they will make you feel like you are a terrible human because we are the worst of the worst. To which I replied, speak for yourself. I'm a pretty darn amazing human being. So on the first comment, I actually put this. Why do you say you know the world is not real? You're crazy. Seek help. Because that's weird. Like, for real, like, you know, I understand the whole thing about the world is a simulation, but like in gang stalking, your reality is already being twisted. You know, like, it's being twisted hard. How is this gonna be helping anyone? It isn't. So these types of messages confirm what the gang stalking playbook says,
which is the fact that gang stalking is primarily driven by confusion. Subscribe if you haven't. My name is Efren Rodriguez, and I have been targeted for 7 years. I created the gang stalking playbook with the intention of being a reliable source of gang stalking information and evidence that is meant to help targets strategically navigate gang stalking so that they can live their best life while beating gang stalking. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and if you're here because a friend of yours accuse you of being a gang stalker, please understand that your friend is probably going through some deep shizzle. The gang stalking playbook is meant to help everyone, not just targets, understand gang stalking with such clarity that gang stalking loses its powers. Which is why I recommend you to send your friend that accused you of being a gang stalker this content, because half of the battle of gang stalking is knowing, and only when you know, you can win. If you're a target, I recommend for you to turn on the bell notifications in addition to subscribing, because by watching this content, you're gonna understand gang stalking so good that you're gonna be able to get your power back, and you're gonna shine as bright as you have ever shone. People are gonna need sunglasses to look at you. Gang stalking is only powerful because most people have never heard of it. Most people don't know what gang stalking is. Typically, people look up gang stalking because they're going through it. Please help the gang stalking playbook to become mainstream and common knowledge by liking, subscribing, and sharing the content. The gang stalking playbook has already helped a lot of people, because with your likes, your subscribes, and your comments, a lot of targets have come across the channel. So I wanted to thank you for that. Lastly, I really thank you and appreciate you investing your valuable time in watching my content. I love you, and I will see you later.